it is. You still gotta think about me. Someone to hold. You can put me on airplane mode. You can put me on. You still gotta think about me. Someone to hold. You can put me on airplane mode. You can put me on.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another edition of the Tuesday Night Flight, brought to you by the Sideline Junkies. I am the man, the myth, the legend, the Midnight Rider. He is the big guy, KG, and the guy in the top corner is the gentleman, Jack. Of course, the sports world has gone through some devastating news, so we're going to bring you that. We got Maddie to come in a little bit later to talk a little hockey. Got an NBA All-Star game recap or weekend recap, and then we hit you with the JC college basketball top 10. And with that being said, let's get the stop party going, fellas. How you feeling?
Good.
All right.
Feeling fine.
Well, I'm gonna do this quicker than normal. I'm just going to turn this over to you because we got a lot of stuff to handle today. And try and fit in a time frame, brother. Let's go.
Yes, sir. And if you don't know, now you know. We got to get situated here because Midnight Ride, I know you mad as hell because you up in the top corner. You ain't in your spot.
It's all good.
You got to have your spot in the huddle there, bro.
We good. We good. We calling. We can make a order every now and then.
All right. We going to go. First of all, good evening, everybody. We're going to do this really, really quickly and respectfully. Come through this thing right here. We got a lot of deaths we're dealing with. First up, gotta say RIP to Robert Duvall. He was Tom Hagen in The Godfather Part 2. He was Pac-Man, aka that was his nickname in Colors. Frank Grimes and John Q. Just an illustrious career as an actor. 92 years old. He passed away on Sunday night. They announced it Monday morning. Just tough loss, but I take it the way BJ always says. He says, man, you got to look at it as a life lived and a career that is unmatchable. Unmatched. So, Midnight Rider.
Oh, real quick.
I know you had something to say.
Yeah, I just love him in what's the movie with the Daytona 500 movie?
Days of Thunder.
Yeah, that's my joint. You know, he had to calm cold trickle down and get him to go around. And he said you never pass on the outside. So he was like, you can do it because we put these special tires on. And you know, nothing was funnier than the press conference when he was asked about it and he told the lady about the special tires. So that's probably one of my funniest parts. He's been great in other movies, kind of as the sourpuss dad and everything. So, yeah, very well accomplished. Loved him in Kicking and Screaming. So, there you go.
Yes, sir, Midnight Rider. You're exactly right. Colors, Days of Thunder. And one I really like Duvall in was one of my favorite all-time movies, and that's Gone in 60 Seconds. Boy, going out there swiping all them rides. So that's what's up with me and David Duvall, a gentleman with a long rap sheet of movies that he has been in, produced, or just been involved with. So RIP, Mr. Duvall.
Next up, we got RIP to Jesse Jackson. In our generation, I think it's safe to say he is one of the leaders of the civil rights movement for poor and disenfranchised people. Operation Push, the Rainbow Coalition, Operation Breadbasket. He did some work in DC, working alongside Mayor for Life, Marion Barry. It's a famous picture that's been going around for quite some time of him and Marion Barry playing basketball out at Potomac Gardens in DC. He was an athlete himself. Him and Marvin Gaye used to ball all the time together. 84 years old. He was sick with Parkinson's, so he passed away. Midnight Rider.
Just real quick, I mean, you said it all. He was always involved in a little bit of everything. That's probably a tremendous amount of pressure on being part of a movement, and then the leader of the movement being taken away, and you and the guys have to figure out, what's next. You lose a person like Martin Luther King. So I think that had to be something that really weighed on him. I love the picture of him against Marion Barry, because he actually does look like an athlete in the picture. And it's amazing them dudes never wore t-shirts, man. They was always balling in suits, man. Get you some shorts and some t-shirts, brother. But that's all I got on Jesse.
Yeah, no, Jesse, being the predecessor to Dr. Martin Luther King, everybody knows what kind of leader Jesse Jackson was. So, and I think both of you spoke pretty good on that part. But the part that I had in my mind of Jesse Jackson was he was a standout quarterback at North Carolina A&T. Transferred there from Illinois, I believe it was. Illinois he transferred. And he was a bad mamma jamma on the football field. So he's actually in the North Carolina A&T Football Hall of Fame, got inducted there in '84. So, yeah, Mr. Jackson was an athlete as well.
Duval Paul checking in said, rest in peace to an American legend. There is no Obama without Jesse Jackson, which is true. Jesse Jackson ran for president twice in '84 and '88. Fell short, but he still gave us hope. And that was what he always told us. I am somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, great coach, ABA player, ABA coach, introduced that high-scoring offense in Denver, Doug Moe. He was also an assistant from 2003 to 2008 with the Nuggets. He passed away today, right, pretty much a little bit before showtime. Played with the Oakland Oaks, and if you don't know about the Oakland Oaks, that pretty much comes to DC, because the Oakland Oaks played a season, I believe, here in DC where they were still known as the Oaks, but they kind of traveled back and forth. So you had Rick Barry, Dr. J and with Virginia, as well as the Iceman, all playing in the same area at the same time for the ABA. So Doug Moe, Midnight Rider.
No, I just remember the Denver offense is running up and down the court, scoring as many points as they possibly could. I think I remember it was always like the Nuggets and the Jazz, and the scores would be like 140 to 145. Of course, the Jazz had my man Alex English. So the Nuggets had Alex English, but yeah, those were good times, man. Go ahead, Jack.
Don't forget them San Antonio Spurs back then. They was high flying scoring too, boy. And Coach Moe was over there in San Antonio for a short time as well. But I got to go back just a little bit on this. Doug Moe grew up in Brooklyn, pretty tough side of Brooklyn over in Flatbush. He went to Erasmus High School in New York and lightly went to Bullis High School in Maryland, in Potomac, Maryland. I can't get no info on it, but it's listed. And I do recall my dad talking about him when I was in my 20s. He would tell me about that because I'd be watching, maybe it was younger than 20s, because I'd be watching, the Denver game, because I loved Denver Nuggets basketball back then. You had Dan Issel, Kiki Vandeweghe. I mean, that offense just flowed. And so after, a high school career at two schools, he went on to UNC, become a two-time All-American in the 60s. He was accused of being involved in a point-shaving incident, a charge that Moe denies and denied and never was charged with. And it was all over $75, y'all. $75. NBA teams did not want to sign him, so he joined the Italian League in '65. He was the league's top scorer in '66. So Moe could score when he was on the court, as well as being a coach to make teams score. He eventually signed with the upstart ABA in '67 with the New Orleans Buccaneers. He played with UNC teammate Larry Brown there and ended up coaching with Larry Brown later on when he started his coaching stuff. In the ABA, he played 5 seasons with 4 teams. He was a 3-time ABA All-Star and won a ship in the ABA in '69 with KG's Oakland Oaks. ABA coach, NBA coach. He coached Denver, San Antonio, Philadelphia. He was an intense coach. Intense. He won Coach of the Year in '88 with Denver. He started this motion offense where the ball is rapidly moving, and that just sounds like normal basketball to us today. But Coach Doug Moe is one of the guys that brought that type of play into the NBA back in the 70s and 80s. His motion offense was ran by the type of players like Walter Davis, Alice English, Fat Lever, Danny Shays, Michael Adams, among many others. I remember Doug Moe and them really flourishing offenses he brought to the NBA.
All right. Last but not least, Lee Ice checking in. He said, bring back the 80s Nuggets uniforms. You talking about with the skyline and the rainbow? You don't know how good you had it until it's gone. Bring those back and bring
and
the
90s
Supersonics back. Oh, the
like
Sonics are coming back. When they do the expansion, Sonics will be back. And they're going to be
then
named the Sonics.
The Bullets jump with the 2 L's getting the rebound. I like that
Man,
one too.
If they
I got it.
I'm not even going to get into that. This one hits close to home. Trey Johnson. He was drafted here in DC, offensive guard. Drafted in the second round, 1994. Played with the Redskins from 94 to 2000 and came back in 2002. Fan favorite. Was always on some Redskins show, whether it was Redskins Report or I'm drawing a blank on the one that used to come on late at night on Channel 9. But he was always on, always accessible. I always said that if Trey Johnson was pulling around the corner, I'm going in for 6. And
was it called Redskins Sideline?
I think that's what it was called. Channel 9.
Yeah.
After the news. Yep.
Yeah, that's what's
he always whenever he got hurt, it was always because somebody rolled up on the back of his leg. And he always said, I could stay healthy if people didn't roll up on the back of my leg. But he was my guy. He was one of my guys. Midnight Rider?
Yeah, I think we were still going to Carlisle at that time. So I know I've met him and I know I bumped into him. I didn't really get a chance to see him out in the wild after he retired. But he was always like that guy. I mean, of course, I know somebody's gonna bring it up. But he was just a leader, man. He decided to stop playing football and fall into the background and mentor young men at Landon High School, which was like he didn't seek glory. He didn't go there expecting to be the head coach. He didn't even want to be the head coach of football. I think he even got dragged into helping with football, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just wanted to be a teacher and just educate kids. So that's just the beauty of Trey. And if nobody mentions it, I'll go back to that one other thing I'll mention about him. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, no, Trey Johnson definitely. If anybody had any kind of interaction with him, and I'm kind of the same way, the way I think about it as the way I'm trying to put things out there, but it's all about the kids. That's the way Trey looked at it. It's all about the kids. It's not about me. It's not about Trey Johnson. And this goes back to me. I really got to know Trey for a short moment by doing some work over at his place over in Woodmore Estates, over in, I guess they call that Largo, over off of Woodmore Road, Lotsford Road area. And I was doing some Miss Utility work, in which KG is familiar, and I'm pretty sure a lot of our listeners are familiar with Miss Utility work. So I'm spraying his grass orange and red and yellow, And he's like, what are you doing out here, man? What you doing? I said, well, they running a new cable line for you soon. So I got marks so they don't bust up your phone and your power. And he's like, oh, all right, cable guy, thanks. And I'm like, no, I'm not with the cable company. So this here goes on. And about 3 weeks later, I'm at a game. I'm sitting right on the railing where the players go to the tunnel after a game. Me and another gentleman that worked at this locating company I was at named Sam Garnett. We sitting there. I'm like, what's up, Trey? And he just looks up, throwing his wristbands to kids. And then he sees me and he's like, Cable Guy, what's up? And that's 3 weeks, man, that he remembered that. So that interaction with me and Trey was awesome. I seen him in a couple other autograph signings. I believe they might have been with our guy Monk over at AAG. But he was always upbeat. You never seen it to where he didn't have enough time for adults or kids. You know, a lot of these athletes will only interact with the kids. They're worried about the adults because they're trying to make money on the autographs. But Trey was always good to everybody. So that's the great memory I got that was happening with Trey Johnson of the then Washington Redskins. So, yeah, rest easy, big guy. Oh, what, 40? He was 50-some years old. What, 54 kg?
Yeah, 54.
Yeah. So, god damn, that's not enough time for a good guy like him to be around.
KG, Mike.
The old saying is, only the good die young, man, and I hate that. Because I must gonna be living forever then.
Well,
to you, KG.
Well, we got to respectfully move on. Another tragedy
Before you
happened. We're
move
gonna bring
on.
in Matty Ice.
Before you move on, I know.
that.
Hold on 1 second, because I didn't.
Yes,
I thought y'all were going to bring this up, but the one thing that he was always known for, was the fight in, I think that was '99 in the playoff game with Robert Porcher, in the wild card game, and the NFL knew he was just defending his quarterback, so they pushed his suspension to the next season instead of suspending him that year. That's all I wanted to get in. Let's get to this. This is something that ended up developing as Maddie and them were on air last night. His fill-ins, the Showtime and Scooter brought it up.
And the correspondent was on there, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant the correspondent. I'm sorry.
That was a good show last night. Sarah did a great job, Matt.
She did. I know. Proud of her.
Starting to get yeah.
Matt's got the best radio voice in the world, don't he?
I think that's Lee Ice. I still love his voice better. He's got that deep voice, booming voice. I love
you
it.
can have the radio voice. I got the TV voice.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is sad, and it kind of fits in, unfortunately, with all these, with the other tragedies that we've had with people passing away. But yeah, this one hurts. I've been officiating ice hockey for 20. This is year 22. I've never really felt unsafe walking into a rink. Probably how I look at things on the ice now is going to be completely different. From seeing the video of what happened, and I'm not here to speculate. I know there's a lot of speculation out there on social media. That's not my game. Let's let the people grieve that are supposed to grieve, and then also let them try to figure out the reasons why and what this was about. But unfortunately, the deceased is Rhonda Dorgan and Aiden Dorgan. That is the adult son of Rhonda Dorgan. Rhonda's parents were also injured. The gentleman that went into this rink and shot them was the next husband, Robert Dorgan. He then took his own life. But I'm really not going to get into that side of it. It's just, it's another one of these situations. And if you've seen, there's a thing that most of these hockey rinks have, which is called Live Barn. And basically you pay for it, you can log in, and it's a way for people that are, to watch their kids play in these hockey games. Like, they're not there, they can log in. Until Live Barn got word of what had happened, pretty much everyone that had a Live Barn account was going on and putting, so you can see the video. The video doesn't really show the shooting. So if you're looking for a video but you can find it if you really want to find it. I'm not here to tell you to find or not. The part of it that I kind of even want to focus on is you watch the players react on the ice when they hear the shots getting fired. And there's two officials on the ice. It's the high school game, so you got two officials, you got the players. And I'll be honest, if you watch real closely, you see the player that's closest to the door dart immediately off the rink. You see the other ref more worried about themselves, and it got me wondering, like, it'd be easy for me to sit here on my high horse and say, well, as an official, they should be making sure that the players get off safety. That's our first priority, right? But
Right.
You got shots getting fired in a rink. I can't sit here and honestly say how I would react. I'd love to sit here and say I'd do the right thing. But even like when my wife and I were talking about last night, she said, if I found video of you trying to do that, I probably would kill you myself, if, for taking advantage, because you don't know where he's shooting, right? And especially on an ice rink, like I started thinking about, like, most of the stands, like, here's the glass, a lot of the stands, you're up above the glass. I mean, you're exposed on the ice. There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide. It just made me really question and wonder, like, how would I have done if I was on the ice in that situation? What the hell do you do? They don't go over that in our seminars.
But Maddie, you're trained to be a sports official. You're not trained to be a military personnel fighting off, enemy shooters.
Yeah.
I don't feel it's your responsibility to, I mean, yeah, God bless the kids, man. But when situations like that, CYA, man.
I know. And that's what you see. You see
hard.
kids fleeing everywhere, and it turns out, no shots were fired onto the ice. This was all in the stands. Nothing was fired onto the ice, but it does make you start to wonder, like, okay, this happened here. And look, let's be honest, this country is full of copycat idiots and people that need mental help. So it makes you start to wonder who's going to look at this and say, this could be a pretty nice spot to do something like this. And because you have a lot of people that are exposed, and you have a lot of people that have nowhere to go in an ice rink. It's sad. It sucks. It's tragic. I feel for this family. I feel for the kids, the therapy that they're all going to need that were there in attendance at this game, because you're going out to watch a high school hockey game. You're not expecting this to happen. And like I said, I'm going to leave the other stuff behind. I just would ask for anyone that wants to put their opinions out there on that. Like, let's let the family do what they're supposed to do. Let's let the family grieve, and then let's try to figure out the why. And let's have smart discussions about the why, not just jump to a conclusion that fits maybe a political narrative that you want it to fit. Because I have a funny feeling when this is all said and done, that's going to have very little to do with it. As to the why, obviously this was a domestic dispute, it was a domestic situation. And I feel for the family. The bottom line is a kid that was in this game playing no longer has his brother, no longer has his mother. And that should be the real sad story. Unfortunately, leave the other shit behind, so to speak, and just let the family heal.
No, I totally agree. There's no good way to transition from something this bad or to make it easy. But if we decide as a group we're not going to speculate on the why and the beyond, let's just go ahead and make a full transition to the next thing. Part of the reason why we brought you on the show, so that way we can kind of just, lighten back up the mood, because we need to
do that. Let's do that. Lighten her up. I can do that.
All right, let's go.
Where you want to go first? You want to do men's? You want to do women's? What do you want to do first?
The next game is the women's championship game. So let's talk about the women being a wagon right now. Go ahead and give your stats, and let's go.
Yeah, I mean, the women's final will be Thursday at 1:10 p.m. You're going to have the United States taking on Canada. These are the two big dogs as far as when it comes to women's hockey. If anyone watched the Drive Time show, I was hopeful that maybe one of these other countries, a Czechia, Switzerland, a Finland, or Sweden, could maybe challenge these two. It just honestly hasn't happened this year in the Olympics. The Canada has steamrolled everybody, and then U.S. has steamrolled everybody and Canada. They played 7 games. The U.S. has outscored their opponents, ladies and gentlemen, 32-1. Yes, they've given up 1 goal in 7 games in this entire tournament. That 1 goal was in their first game. They've now gone over 360 minutes without giving up a goal. This women's team is just on fire right now. But they're still playing Canada. There's been 8 gold medals before this one. The U.S. and Canada have played for 7 of them. Canada is 4-2 in these gold medal games against the U.S. They've won the last 2 gold medal games, and they still have the best goal scorer ever to play in women's hockey, and that's Marie-Philippe Poulin. She scored the 2 goals against the Swiss. They only beat the Swiss 2-1 in the semis. To get into the finals, the U.S. rolled over Sweden 5-0. I do want to give a shout out to Layla Edwards, who's having a hell of a tournament. She's the first Black player to play wear the Stars and Stripes. She's had 2 goals, 7 points. She actually plays forward for the University of Wisconsin. They moved her back on D. She's been phenomenal on D, making great D plays after great D plays, but just leading, and she leads the point on the power play. She's gotten a lot of her points that way. She's done phenomenally well. So I honestly feel this is U.S. games to lose, and the only way, I think, if Canada can get a goal early and put that pressure on the U.S., maybe, I think then Canada can keep it. But the U.S. made this decision to go with this younger, stronger, quicker lineup. and it's just worked. I mean, Canada has a lot of talent, but it's an older group, and they looked slow when they played the U.S. in the round robin. They lost 5-0. It's the first shutout of Canada in the Olympics ever. And it was done by U.S. And then I haven't gotten to the goaltending of the U.S. and they nicknamed themselves the Brick Walls, and they've been playing that way. So I gotta give a shout out to Gwyneth Phillips, who's from Athens, Ohio, and Aaron Frankel. They've given up just with the one goal. Phillips set a record with 3 shutouts in her first 3 Olympic games. So we'll see. I like the U.S. I think Canada will score, but I got 4-1. I'll take the U.S. 4-1 to beat Canada and bring the gold home on the women's side, which they've just been. This team has just been dominant, and they are fun to watch.
So, how does Canada win?
They win by Poulin scoring multiple goals and their defense, keeping the U.S. in check, which they can do. I mean, this Canadian team still has a lot of PWHA players. They still, and they've got the experience. They've all been here before, So we'll see. Was that 5-0 just them because it was back-to-back game for Canada? Poulin was not playing in that game because she was resting an injury. So there's a way for Canada to win this game. And I was on with the guys on Unapologetic Sports before. Would it be an upset by the money line? Yes, but for anyone that follows these two teams, not really. It'd be a disappointing loss, but I wouldn't call it an upset.
On the women's side, there was a woman that scored a goal last night, and her brother apparently plays for Iowa State and hit a clutch 3-pointer. Are you familiar with that, Maddie?
I heard it. I can't remember what her name was. There's so many weird stats like that because you got one girl, Schoenfeld, whose dad played in the NFL and stuff like that, and they've been kind of fun to watch. And I can't remember. I remember them talking about, but I can't remember her name. It was kind of a blur.
I'm looking at the box score from last night's Cyclones game. I can't remember which cat it was. It wasn't Jefferson,
no,
Tor or Lipsy. Who knows? They might not even have the same last name, because of marriage or whatnot. But yeah, that's what I heard. I heard the gentleman hit a big 3-pointer just after his sister scored her first goal in the Olympics. Yeah, so
I like that though. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's Heiss, Nate Heiss, and a guard on an Iowa State team whose sister is Taylor Heiss.
Taylor Heiss.
I see.
There it is.
There he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Heiss was 3 for 3 from 3-point last night.
She's had a great tournament too. She's really has played well. The whole team's played well. They're fun to watch. So yeah, if you got the chance, watch it at 1:10 on Thursday. It's going to be a fast game. It's going to be physical. It's U.S. Canada on. It's what everyone's been waiting for. So they'll go at it again. Like I said, from the hockey standpoint, I'm a little disappointed that we just haven't. No one on the women's side has competed with these two countries. I really thought this year would be the year, but they're light years above, and I don't know, maybe even the U.S. is getting that far ahead against Canada. If they have a statement win on Thursday, that might be an interesting point of view.
KG?
I mean, geez, I'm still stuck because when Maddie talk about women's hockey, I'm still stuck about there already been a women's hockey league, and that's always been my thing. So I'm
in year 3. The PWHL's done great. They actually had 18,000 in DC for a game against, I think it was Minnesota against Boston. Maybe they had 18,000 in DC for it.
What arena did they play in, Matt?
They played at where the Caps play, whatever the hell it's Verizon or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
I can't keep up with
MCI Verizon.
Yeah, whoever is running the show there. But yeah, they played there, and they've been doing these games all throughout the country where they'll have 2 teams and they'll play in a city that doesn't have a team. I think that's how they're kind of fishing out to see where they're going to expand next. Denver, they had 15,000 in Denver, and that was the same day that the Broncos played and the Avalanche played later, and they still had 15,000 there. So it's drawn well. They're having some success. Now they just gotta get that on TV. That's the next step.
Yeah, that's a nice draw because, I mean, besides the Capitals arena downtown, the Capitals got a spot in Gambrills where they work out. Then you got the Navy facilities. That's probably the biggest facilities in the area for a team.
You got the Mystics facility too, with the Mystics and the Go-Go play. over there,
Yep.
St. Elizabeth.
If I had to bet,
Oh,
I think it's going to be Pittsburgh and Detroit will get the next two expansion cities for the PWHL. If I had to bet,
got you.
that's just it makes sense to have a team in Detroit and Pittsburgh. But it wouldn't surprise me if DC's not too far behind because they have drawn well when they played those games there, and it's a huge market. There's I think it's something the Mystics always have drawn well. So I think it's a market that they will get into. I just don't think it'll be the next round of expansion. Maybe the one after that I could see.
Got you.
All right, so let's get to the men's U.S. hockey team.
Yep.
Because I know this is kind of it hasn't grinded your gears, but it's gotten close to the way the tournament's set up.
Yeah, I mean, it just the qualifying round was today for teams to play into the quarterfinals. You had Canada, Finland, Slovakia, which was the one surprise of the four teams to get a bye, and the U.S. all got byes into the quarterfinals. No real surprises today. It was chalk heavy. Germany beat France, Switzerland beat Italy, Czechia defeated Denmark, and Sweden took care of Latvia. So our quarterfinals are tomorrow. First one is at 6:10 a.m. That's East Coast time. So remember, Italy's 6 hours ahead. So if you want to watch these live, you're setting your alarms. You're getting up early. You're going to have Slovakia against Germany. One of these teams is going to be in the semis because the IHF decided that the first three seeds would be the top three teams that won their groups. The seeds 4 through 6 would be the second place teams. The seeds 7 through 9 would be the third place teams, and so on and so forth. So what the stupidity means is that Sweden, who went 2-1, got 6 points, was still the 6th seed. They will draw the U.S. in the quarterfinals, which means a team that a lot of people had favored to be gold medal winners are going to play each other in the quarterfinals, and one of them isn't even going to get into the semis, which is it's just stupid. I love Slovakia. It's a great story, but the fact that they get to play Germany in the next round is just silly to me when they've lost games, and you got the U.S. and Canada who've rolled over everyone, and arguably the U.S. has to take on the probably the third or fourth best team in this tournament that's left. But that's the last game of the day. That's at 3:10. At 10:40 tomorrow, you will have Canada play Czechia. These two played in game one. Canada won 5-1. Czechia is good. They've got a lot of NHL players on it. They could give Canada a run for the money, but kind of like what I talked about on the women's side, where this is the U.S. games to lose. I really feel right now the way that the men are playing, I think this is Canada's to lose. They have so many offensive weapons on that team. And yes, their defense is a little suspect, but it doesn't matter when you're scoring 5-6 goals a game. I mean, they beat Czechia 5-1. They beat Switzerland 5-0. These are teams with NHL players on it, and they just rolled all over them, and the scores weren't even that close. So I don't see Czechia beating Canada. The Finns play the Swiss. The Finns lost their first game. That's the only upset really that we had was on day one when Slovakia beat them. Besides for that, we really haven't had the upsets. The Finns bounced back and beat Sweden. And since then, they've just been rolling. I think they'll get by the Swiss pretty easily. That game is at 12:10. And then again, 3:10, you have U.S. against Sweden. Sweden didn't play well until today. They dominated a decent Latvia team that's got Elvis Merzlikins, who's a goaltender who plays for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they've got a few other NHL players. But Sweden just dominated. Their big boys showed up today. So Jacob Markstrom was in goal for Sweden. He plays for the New Jersey Devils. He's played most of the games this game. He wasn't getting too taxed. I imagine he'll be in goal for this one. It should be Connor Hallebuck for the U.S. because Jeremy Swayman did not have a good game in his game against Germany. Gave up a goal pretty much from half ice, which was no bueno. The U.S. did beat the Swedes in the Four Nations with similar lineups, so the U.S. should win this game. They have a little bit more depth. They have, I think, the better defense, but you're playing a Sweden team that's equally talented. I mean, they're led by Gabriel Landeskog and others. This game's going to be that one's definitely going to be the best game. So it all depends because they didn't reseed for this round, which made no sense. They do reseed for the semis. So whoever is the highest seed left will get the lowest seed. So if chalk holds, you're going to have Canada go up against Finland, which is the 1-4. You would have the U.S. against Slovakia. If Sweden wins, Canada then has to play Sweden in the quarters, or in the semis, and so that means Canada's going to have to go through Sweden, and then they could have to go through the Finns or if they're still left too. So it's anyone's game. Like you can make an argument for still 5 of them. It just really does suck that Sweden and the U.S. are having to play tomorrow and not later.
So didn't they set it up where I thought they had the 5 best played teams on one side of the group? So why
That
would
was
you
on
make,
that was the women's side. That was
okay,
the women where they did that, where they had the top five. This one was more split up based on the world rankings. The problem with doing this off the world rankings was that, of course, all these world championship games didn't have NHL players in it. So the NHL players changed that whole entire, and the US did have the easiest of these three groups. I don't deny that at all. Like Canada had to go through two good teams, Czechia and Switzerland. Slovakia, Sweden, and Finland were all in the same group together. The US had Latvia, Germany, and Denmark. So they had three easier teams. They won all three games, but I don't think that they dominated any of those three games, in my view, like they should. They played better against Germany. That's my hope, is that they're starting to also, to get to their game and find their game. But their defense has had a few holes, but I haven't really necessarily liked the way that Sullivan's put together the D-core. I'd like to see him get back to putting Slavin and Werenski together to shut down the top team's lines. Maybe we'll see that tomorrow. They did practice together today, so I'm hopeful that he gets smart and changes up the D pairings a little bit, just to get a little bit more strength, because they can't play like they have in the last couple of games against Sweden. Sweden will roll right through them if they do.
guys, any questions?
I do have a question, because I might have missed this on Drive Time, which airs on Mondays at 5 p.m. right here on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network.
Thank you, sir.
When it comes to Olympic hockey, are these players NHL players, a lot of them NHL players? How does that work? Because I thought at one point in time for the Olympics, they kind of just paused the NHL.
They did. This is the first year where they're the first Olympics where they're back in 12 years, if my memory from the show is correct. So it's been the first time in a while. Now, of course, you don't have Russia due to Russia not being allowed to participate. If Russia was in this tournament, they'd be right in the mix on the men's side. Not as much on the ladies' side. The ladies program in Russia is just not what U.S. and Canada are. But on the men's side, you'd be throwing out one of these other teams, and Russia would be in there. Like they would have an all NHL team as well. Sweden has all NHL players. Sweden, Canada, Finland, and the US have all NHL players. Their entire roster is nothing but NHL players. So those are the four top teams, for sure. And again, you have two of those teams having to go head to head in the quarterfinals. Just in case I haven't mentioned that before.
All right.
Any questions,
Jack?
Jack?
Mighty gents.
Before I bounce,
No.
I know Jack's going to do his top 10 later. There's rumblings in Oxford, Ohio, that they are ready with pitchforks. If they don't hear Miami of Ohio in the top 10, they are going to be hunting down Jack. I'm going to give my love to my MAC school at 25-0. The Miami of Ohio Redhawks. And I know Jack loves to say that it's because they don't play anybody, but people don't realize the MAC big schools, they can't get anybody to play them. Nobody wants to play Akron. Nobody wants to play Kent State. Nobody wants to play Miami of Ohio. Nobody wants to play Ohio U. You know why? Because they know that there's a good chance they're going to lose to one if they play them. So they can't get these top five schools, that are in that middle ground to play these schools. I'm curious though, what are they going to do if Miami rolls the table but then loses in the MAC championship game? They got to get in the tournament, right?
Slow your roll, Maddie. Slow your roll. Let's let this Miami OH get by UMass first, okay? Let's let them get by UMass tonight, which they are only up 10, 12 minutes in the second half is what I last saw. So before you get your little Miami OH panties in a bunch, let's see what they do against UMass tonight.
Hey, I'm just a messenger here. I'm just letting you know what's going on in Oxford, Ohio. They told me to give you the message, so I just had to deliver it of what they were feeling right now. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Message received, as KG would say. Yeah, they're not top 10, brother.
I know they're not, but
If they run the table,
I wanted to make a bit.
I might put them at 11.
All right, I'll take 11. I want to have a little bit with you there. So
yeah, I want to get some time to really sit down and watch them play. I have not seen a single game from Miami OH yet.
They're good. They can shoot. That team can shoot, and they defend well. All the things that lead to good victories in the MAC.
We'll see. Mac attack.
Yeah. With Sacramento State next year in football. Yes.
Uh-oh.
2,500-mile road trips. That might be a Grind My Gears segment on Monday. That the fact that we're going to have Sacramento State in the MAC. I get it for them. It makes sense. But 2,500-mile road trips for a Wednesday night MAC game on ESPN is just going to be stupid.
It's the same thing that happened when Maryland went to the Big Ten, dude. I mean, they had to go cross country 3, 4, 5 more times than they ever, and it added to the money, in which the money they got from the Big Ten, but it just got ate up in travel arrangements. So it's not like they even benefited off most of the money they made leaving the ACC. An update in ACC basketball right now: Midnight Riders, Tar Heels are down by 16 to the North Carolina State Wolfpack. I must say, UNC is 2 starters down tonight. Caleb Wilson wanted to play with his non-shooting hand in a light cast, but coach said no go. Coach Hubert said no go. And I think they're going to take a couple losses if those 2 boys got to sit out.
That won't matter to Showtime. She'll still make sure you guys all know that NC State won that game. You know that, right? You know that, right? You know she's not going to let you live that down if NC State
wins that
why game.
I had to bring it up for you and for Sarah and Midnight Rider.
Well, guys, thanks for having me on to talk a little hockey. I do appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming on there, Maddie.
All right, so tomorrow's the day. Most of the games should be on the USA Network or NBC, probably USA Network until Canada will probably be on NBC, and I know the USA game will definitely be on regular NBC at 3:10. That's the one.
Check your messenger.
Okay.
All right.
Now, like while I'm on or after?
No. Just later on. I sent you something.
Okay.
I said I was going to give you a redesign. So this is your
design. Okay. I don't know that Puck U design that Lee Ice came up with for me. That was beautiful. I was so in love today when I was on the show with that. That was a beautiful segment title they came up with, and I saw that. It's like, oh. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You guys have a good rest of the show.
All right, man. Take it easy.
That was the great Matty Ice of Drive Time, seen here every Monday at 5 p.m. Quickly.
Hold on. Before we go there, let's take a quick break. Let's reset.
Let's reset. I like that.
Let's reset everything. If you got the clip for Nothing But Net, let's play that. And then before we go into the JT top 10, let's go into in the passenger seat.
Okay.
It might not be in this one. If it's not, we'll do the generic.
All right. Because I don't think I have it. All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our Thursday night. Omaha. That's Wednesday night special. Nothing But Net airs 7:30 p.m. before our 8 p.m. show in the passenger seat. But real quick, let's talk All-Star game. We ain't gotta stick here long. And then let's get out and then come back in with Jack and the JC top 10.
Yes, indeed. NBA All-Star game was this weekend. I had power issues on Sunday, so I didn't get to see it. So Midnight Ride, I asked that you fill me in quickly on what happened. Terry said it was one of the best NBA All-Star games in recent years. I would like to know. I don't want to wait till tomorrow. Give it to me now.
That's like saying that that's like saying that what you got this week I don't even know how to describe it. Normally, I'm better with words, but no, I think this was one of the better ones, period, because the teams came out early, established themselves early, and played like this was going to be a ball game early on, early and often. Wembanyama takes the tip, the jump ball, post up, gets a dunk, and I think that kind of established the motto and the tempo. And I think the fact that we had, instead of these guys having to play a full 48, because you were splitting 48 minutes amongst 24 guys, I think they were able to give a little bit more effort. And I think just putting the competitive nature into it, making guys having to compete, to get into this tournament and win this tournament. Now, somehow Adam Silver always uses the tournament to solve all his problems, but we got another tournament. So it was good.
Mhm.
I don't know if this has a legacy or a lifestyle that's going to make it last for a long time, but it did the job to save the weekend. You know what I'm saying? I'll say it that way. Fellas, your thoughts? And before I go further, I got to recognize the Boss Man B for jumping on stage with us. Boss Man, what's up? How you feeling?
Man, I'm good, fellas. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
You're good.
All-Star game. I don't know if you saw a bunch of it, but if you got thoughts on it, give me your quick thoughts.
I got thoughts on the dunk contest because I did watch the dunk contest.
Let's go. Talk about it.
I want to give those guys a thumbs up, man, because it's so hard, especially where everybody on here is so hard to replicate the things we've seen in the past and that energy. I'll give them credit, especially what's his name, Keyshawn Johnson from the Rockets. And he had the energy. The boy from Orlando, they had the energy. I love the E40 came out. Like, the energy was there. Give him the effort. I didn't like that I don't know if it was his first or second dunk. He had missed the first one and redid it, and they kind of gave him the full score for the whole thing. I didn't like that because it's always been when you miss your first one, even if you make the second one, you get points off for missing that first one. So I didn't kind of like that. But with the state of how the dunk competition is, I kind of get, trying to keep the energy. That's kind of deflating for the new kids. They need a participation trophy. But no, I'm gonna give them a thumbs up on the dunk contest. I like the energy. I thought some of the dunks were really good. I don't know if they were 50 worthy. I thought Dwight Howard kind of scored kind of high on a lot of his dunks. But I'll give it a thumbs up overall. And just the All-Star game weekend, kind of overall, all we've been asking for the last however many years is effort. That's right. All we've been asking for is, and the show that came on before us on Unapologetic Sports, Josh from Highly Opinionated, they say the same thing. All we ask for is effort. Y'all get millions and millions of dollars. We shouldn't have to beg for effort for the All-Star game, especially when people coming in. These aren't regular games. People coming in paying however many thousands of dollars to go to All-Star weekend in the game and travel over there and experience that's sometimes that's once in a lifetime experience. All we ask for is effort. I'll give the overall All-Star game this weekend a thumbs up. The effort was there. I thought the slam dunk competition. The only thing I didn't get to see the 3-point shootout.
I can tell you didn't get to see that because you giving this a thumbs up.
I didn't. Just okay. Let me say, based on what I saw.
Right.
Based on what I saw, because like I said, I'm old school. I watch Vince Carter. I watch the dunk competitions. And I'll give them effort. I mean, Mac McClung won the last 3 years?
Two.
Okay. So it was good to see. I mean, it was good to see them step up. I know that it's a big thing, because it can make or break you. And it's one of the reasons why LeBron James didn't do it. It can make or break you, and to have the cojones to go out there and do it. And put yourself out there. I'll give them boys a thumbs up for it. So that's all I had on the All-Star weekend.
I think it's either the last two or two out of the last three that McClung has won. But I told C Perry on when he showed me the graphic, I said all them boys look like they 6'10" or 6'9", and it's not going to show well. I think their effort was good. I think the Keyshawn Johnson kid was trying to give it the energy and get up to date. But yeah, I just think it was a struggle for them the whole time trying to make things happen.
Extend.
Say it again.
I said you could see it, some of them trying to extend and just the whole, when you're looking at it, when you're judging, and it's so crazy because we got the Olympics on right now, and when I'm looking at certain things, especially curling, I don't know what the hell they're judging on, figure skating, but when I'm looking at the dunk competition, I can tell you right there, all right, he didn't extend there, he didn't get the height, it kind of glitched right there when he was doing. I can do that, I can judge that. So it's kind of crazy that that parallel right there with the judging. But yeah, you can tell like I said, it was a struggle for them guys, but they gave the effort, they gave the energy, they were trying to get the crowd into it. It's a start.
Go ahead, Jack. You had your fingers up.
Mac has won 3 straight.
Okay.
3 straight. Okay.
3 straight. And like I said, BJ, the dunk contest, in my opinion, still thumbs down. The 3-point contest, yes, sir, thumbs up, because the stars are there. The stars are there in the 3-point shooting contest. We can't get no stars involved in the dunk contest, man. Back from the days when Neek and Michael Jordan and Vince Carter, the top of the leagues, used to participate, but now it's not. That's why I give the dunk contest a thumbs down. The overall NBA weekend, I'll give it a in the middle. The game, I like that little tournament thing, but they can't just keep saving things with different tournaments. And how are the numbers going to continue to be balanced like they were this year to make a youngin' squad, an old head squad, and a foreign squad? But it showed that the young squad had more legs longer than any players out there. The first 2 games were really tight games. I thought that was awesome with the buzzer beater from DeAndre Fox, who was a alternate on this team. So he was the last player to get invited to come play. So that was awesome. He got the 3-point shot to win the first game. But I feel the championship game, I guess you call it, from the All-Star game, the old guys were just worn out. And Ant made sure they knew that because he just kept ringing them, short mid-range to the hole, 3-pointer. It didn't matter. Ant was going to make them pay, and he said it in his post-interview. I want to take them old heads every time. So I think the senior squad or USA, what were they called? Stars and Stripes, I think they were called.
Mm-hmm.
The older team, that's too much for them. I mean, sitting around for God knows how long that 12-minute period took to play. I think that was too much for the older players, and it showed in the blowout of the decision for the victory, I reckon it is. What Kawhi did in the second and third game was pretty impressive for the old guys. 31 points in 12 minutes. Jeez, please, boy. But they just gave him a green light. You know what I'm saying? He's going down the court every time, and it's his rock. So I really thought the only thing that was the change of the way they played, the hustle, the effort, as it's been said tonight, was a plus. And the big stars still coming out for the 3-point contest was a plus. But the dunk contest, I mean, half these people don't even know who that Jalen Johnson is. I mean, I think he just got sent back to G League right before that game, or for that contest. So I don't know. I don't like it, the dunk contest, until some stars come out. Let Ant-Man come out there and dunk. I mean, what is it? You get to where you make so much money that you're beneath above things, I mean. And that's the way it kind of seems, the way these guys act towards participating in the dunk contest, which used to be one of the most popular contests of NBA weekend. Hell, I'd rather watch the skills challenge than dunks contest. What do you think, KG?
I'm pretty much done with it all, but this ain't my generation, so it has no. This was something that I started on Thursday and didn't end until Sunday night with watching. It's not for me. So, and I'm okay with that. If everybody else loved it, so be it. But it's not for me. I thought the dunk contest was weak because most of these guys pulled off in-game dunks. I've seen that in-game the last 5 to 7 years. I didn't see the three-point contest. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I'm trying to catch highlights of it. But I don't like the format because it should be 24 All-Stars, and it should be East versus West. I like that they started doing the captains and everything, but that kind of got old. And just I like the tradition of it. That's what made the All-Star game great, because you got to see who was really powerful, because the West could come out and jump to a lead and the East to come back. And next thing you know, it's 135, 131, and it's 3 minutes left and D is being played. So, but that's just me. I'm an old man shaking my fist standing on my lawn. So let me get off my lawn because my grass is turning brown, as Perry said. So
Go ahead, BJ. Just unmute yourself this time, because you had a nice conversation by yourself.
Oh no, it was on purpose.
About that thing with the thing.
I'm talking to the kids. The kids, you know,
Yeah.
the kids want to talk when you're doing a podcast. I didn't have nothing to say, man. I
Okay.
said my piece. Yeah, I said my piece.
I was gonna say, I like that thing when you talking about that thing. Yeah, that thing
Yeah.
was good. Yeah, that was a good
Oh.
conversation.
Best thing I heard.
All night, baby. Let's hit these comments real quick. I'm gonna start at Jack Wag. J-Dub, he said, good evening, folks. He said, I did not see the All-Star game or dunk contest or any of those things they do on All-Star weekend. I had no idea who was in the dunk contest this year. Really wasn't interested who was in it. Don't do it, so the stars don't do it, so it's no good in my opinion. The gray hairs got tired.
Yep.
Can't call it a product of success when the final is 48-27. And then Jack back, the dunk contest needs one thing: the star players to start competing in the dunk contest again. Unless that happens, I don't see the luster coming back the way it used to be when the stars were in it. I think I'm gonna say this because I think, guys, when we talk about the stars haven't really been in it since, I think, Vince was the last real star to be in it, and that's at this point now. We're almost
When
talking
was
about
that?
20 years ago.
How
Who else
many?
was recently?
Dwight Howard.
I'm thinking late 2008, maybe something like that. Is the
Oh,
last
we
time
had
Star
almost
might have
2
been in?
years.
I
You're
can't-
arguing about 20 years ago.
I can't remember.
Dwight Howard,
Yeah.
Blake Griffin.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
That Blake
I
Griffin
like
went
the
20
only
years
one,
ago.
the closest one is the Levine and at Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Whatever That's like the last great year of stars being involved in this. And I'm saying that to say, like, there's a couple things we are battling when it comes to dunk contests. One is fatigue. We've done, like, you go to a camp, they got a dunk contest. You go to this, you got a dunk contest. You go online, you got a dunk contest. And I think the problem that the dunk is really suffering from is the fact that we see so many dunks, we're numb to a dunk. You see a dude throw a thing off the backboard and he 360 and dunking, and no matter if it's AI or whatever it is, like we're just numb to it now. And I think that's the point in the place where we are. And I think that's the hardest part about the dunk, because I don't think we would care if they put 4 YouTube dunkers out there and they did some stuff to set it off. You wouldn't even care what their names were. Go ahead.
Hey, Minarada, I think since you mentioned it, if they invited 3 YouTube dunkers, because there's a show out called Dunk Man, I think it's called, on TBS or TNT. Shaquille O'Neal is the host of that show, and it's a dunk contest between YouTube dunkers, and they got like levels, and you can catch it. You just Google it, really. I think it's called Dunk Man. And I think they should invite, say, 3 or 4 YouTube dunkers to go against 3 or 4 NBA dunkers. That might be a good idea. But then it would look terrible, be a black eye, if a YouTube dunker beats an NBA dunker, though. So what do you think about that?
It wouldn't be a black eye. The problem would be, can the YouTube, this is where I think the problem will come in, is can the YouTube dunker do it on the first try?
Yeah, you ought to see these guys, man.
I see those guys, but those tapes are edited, and we done took all them out.
I'm talking about on the show Dunk Man. Okay. It's not edited, bro, and they dunking pretty hard and doing some shit I haven't seen before on NBA. So, and they're not out there with 5 dunk coaches like some of these guys. That kills me, man. You need a dunk coach? You're not. I don't know.
All right, guys.
Maybe that's a good idea.
All right. Anything else on the dunk contest before we go, and then we do the JC top 10?
Before y'all get to the JC top 10, I just wanted to hop back on, continue the show, fella. I just wanted to hop in and give my 2 cents about the NBA All-Star Weekend. I'm gonna get out y'all way.
All right, cool.
Peace.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break, giving you a preview of tomorrow night's show that comes on at 8 p.m. on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. It's called "This in the Passenger Seat." Ladies and gentlemen, again, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. in the passenger seat, starring the gentleman Jack Carr. I think tomorrow night he's got Lee Ice with him as his guest host.
Lee Ice will be the backseat driver tomorrow, and I am going to have baseball coach, Riverdale Baptist baseball coach, Aaron Graves. He's doing a lot in Prince George's County youth baseball as well, and he's also, I just found this out last night, he's also a volunteer on the coaching staff at Stevenson University. And everybody knows my daughter goes to Stevenson University. I must say my daughter, the Dean's List recipient for the first semester. And that's going to be fun to talk to him. He doesn't know anything about my connections with Stevenson, so I look forward to getting into that with him.
All right. So next up on the agenda that we call it, we do a little thing on Tuesdays. Tuesdays our list show, and this list is the JC college basketball top 10. So let's go ahead and get to dancing with the top 10, Jack.
Oh, speaking of dancing, man, let's get ready because there's only about 5 or 6 games for most teams left before we start conference tournaments. So stuff's heating up. I'm going to jump right to my list, the top 10. And number 1, and I'm going to let you know, I made this list this morning. I watched that Arizona game last night and then made my top 10. So I got Michigan at the number 1 spot with a 24-1 record. They beat UCLA and Northwestern this past week. Up next tonight, they are playing the Purdue Boilermakers right now on Peacock. Do we got an update on that Michigan Purdue midnight?
Michigan 91, Purdue 80, and that's a final.
Final. Okay. Well, the big game for Michigan now is going to be this Saturday. They got a home game versus the Duke Blue Devils, 6:30 on ESPN. You watch this Michigan team. They got 3 big scorers. They got 3 big rebounders. Lindenberg, Johnson, and Mara. Mara's 7'3". That joke is big. So check out the 3 guys are the heart and soul of that team, and they got a bunch of supporting cast there as well. Number 2, UConn Huskies.
Before you go on, that ball game is actually in the DC area. It's in Cap One this weekend. The Michigan Duke game, it's an alternate site game.
It's a tournament?
No, it's just an alternate site game. Yeah, you know,
I was unaware of that.
Yeah, Duke likes to play, alternate site games here and there. So this weekend they're playing at Cap One. I don't know if that's part of the soft opening of Cap One and their new rehab. So
Okay.
that's going to be in the area. But I think if you don't have $600, you probably won't see that ball game live and in person. So,
Well, thanks for the info that Michigan is going to be considered the home game for this neutral site. They're going to be considered the home team for it. So, yeah, I appreciate the heads up on that. Number 2, the UConn Huskies at 24-2. They beat Butler and Georgetown this week. Honestly, UConn doesn't have much on the schedule until the 25th of February, where they got St. John's coming into UConn. St. John's is a top 25 ranked squad and maybe even higher by the time the end of February rolls around. UConn 5 scores, average double digits, and they all shoot well. You never know who's going to be the high point man for this UConn team. A gentleman named Solo Ball is really the commander of this team. Number 3, Duke Blue Devils at 23-2. They beat Clemson and Syracuse this past week. Up next is the game Saturday versus Michigan. Carlos Boozer, 23 and 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. That's a nice little stat line. And then you got Isaiah Evans, the sophomore, that's just been lighting three-point land up for the Duke Blue Devils. In the number 4 spot, I got Iowa State in there at 22-3. They rebounded off a loss to TCU to beat Kansas pretty sturdily. They beat Kansas 74-56 last week, and then they beat Houston 70-67. Everyone on this team eats, Midnight Rider. I mean, everyone on this Iowa State. Number 7 eats, number 8 eats. It's a team that almost anybody can score. They went on a 17-4 run to end the game against Houston, and Iowa State just showed me so much heart. They was on the floor. They was jumping for boards, boxing. It just did all the little things to equivalent to that 17-4 run to wrap up that game against Houston. Houston didn't look good in that game. So since Houston lost Iowa State, I got Houston at number 5. I want to say they were as high as number 2 before all this, but they're 23-3. As again, they lost to Iowa State 70-67. It was a hell of a game. The next 2 for Houston is going to be something. Houston's got Arizona at home Saturday at 3 p.m., and then they got to go to Kansas on next Monday. Houston is led by Emmanuel Sharp, the gentleman that led them last season to the championship game, and Kingston Flemings is another high scorer. Both of them average about 17 points a game. They're a tough tandem to handle for Houston, but I feel that Houston needs another 1 or 2 ball players to show up in the scoring column to make them that team to be feared come March. Number 6, I got Arizona dropping to number 6 at 23-2. They lost to Kansas 82-78, and they lost to Texas Tech 78-75. All close games. I'll give them that for that. Close losses. But they don't have much. They do got much coming up. They got a gauntlet coming up right now, matter of fact. They got BYU next on the schedule. Then they got Houston. Then they got a tough little Baylor team. Then they got Kansas. They finished the season with Iowa State. So we're really going to see what Arizona's made of, Midnight Rider, once they finish that 5-game stretch right there. Are they that team that was atop the polls for almost the entire season so far, or can they not win big games? So, number 7, Purdue Boilermakers. They're playing some great basketball. They're 21-4. They beat Nebraska and Iowa this past week. Tonight, they are playing Michigan right now, and it's over. And as we said, Michigan defeated Purdue. They got a nice starting 5 at Purdue. Trey Kaufman-Wren is the leader of this squad, as he was last year. Trey Kaufman-Wren had a tremendous tournament last year, and I expect to see him continue to lead this team. And number 9, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. I done moved them Kansas Jayhawks to the number 8 spot. 19-6. They beat Arizona, but they lost to Iowa State. I think I had them at 8 or 9 last week, so that's kind of why they're staying where they're at, even though they beat Arizona, guys. But up next, they got Oklahoma State and Cincinnati. The star on the team, Darren Peterson, who everybody is picking to be the number 1 draft pick in the NBA draft this spring, in which I disagree with. He's already missed 11 games this year, man. So he missed the last 2 games with an illness. He's missed a few games early in the season with some injuries. So you're looking at Flory Buganda. He's the guy that's leading this Kansas team. He had a big game, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks in that Arizona game. So Kansas, if they can get their star back out there and healthy, they could be trouble. But unless he's on the court, I just don't see this 5 being strong enough to handle everybody. Number 8 spot at 21-5, Illinois. Illinois did lose to Wisconsin 92-90. Wisconsin is a strong, high-scoring team that I expect to make a little climb into the top 25 here shortly, or make some noise come tournament time. Illinois is still led by Keaton Wagler. When he beat Indiana, man, 34.7 assists. Not many guys are shooting that much and kicking the rock in college. So that's a phenomenal game. They got Morokovic. He's a tough big guy, plays down low, 25 with 7 rebounds. Up next, they got a West Coast trip to go to USC and UCLA. And then they got Michigan coming up on the 27th of this month. So that's going to be a great one. Number 10 is going to be a new team cracking my top 10, and that's going to be the Florida Gators. Last year, I liked the Florida Gators early on. This year, I liked them early on, but they needed to get healthy, and I feel that they're healthy now, and Florida Gators are a big, long team. They're long, man. Florida, 19-6. They beat Georgia 86-66, and they beat Kentucky 92-83. South Carolina and Ole Miss are up next for Florida. Thomas Howell, he's the guy, man. 18 points and I believe 7 rebounds a game is what he gets. So if you look over there at the Florida ball team, Thomas Howell, he's big. He plays inside, outside, and they got some nice point guard play. And they also got a cat over there that's like 7'80", a sophomore, that he gets cheered to get in the game all the time, but I don't think he's ready for big-time ball. Floating just on the outside of my top 10, I got Texas Tech, Michigan State, UNC going to drop off of that can. St. John's, that's who you're going to look out for. The Johnnies are playing. The injuries too, but they're starting to gel the way they were predicted to come out. And what a better time to start playing. It's kind of like they did last year. They made a strong late run. And then floating right there on the bottom of my 5 that just missed out, it's a tie for 2 teams because I don't know which way to go with either one of these teams, Midnight Rider. And that's University of Virginia, and that's Vanderbilt Commodores. Both teams, I just haven't seen them play nobody good yet. What do you think about UVA and Vanderbilt?
I literally was mouthing the words UVA when you said I got 2 on the cusp, because UVA was at either 11 or 10 depending on the poll, and they just had like a bad couple weeks here. So I kind of figured that might be the place where you were going when you said what you said and the way you set it up.
Yeah, I just don't think UVA can score the rock consistently.
That's always their problem. It's always going to be their problem as long as they have this Tony Bennett setup. Like they're not
defense first.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
I agree.
Wisconsin took a hard fall because I thought Wisconsin was up at the top for a minute.
They did.
Ohio State. But just in general, college basketball, the locals have struggled. I know GMU is probably the better of the teams in the local facet. I know Maryland's had some injuries. I know NC State is killing North Carolina right now. I know that's not local, but that's just local to my heart. I don't know what Georgetown is doing. Like if you, how do I want to say this question? Because I'm going through because I'm trying to figure out how I want to ask it.
Okay.
Let's ask it this way: if you had to pick a favorite right now, going into March blind, you know, who would you take as a team that you put your horses to, hit your wagon to?
As far as winning it all,
Yeah.
oh, you know where I'm going one way. I mean, Duke's as strong as ever, man. I mean, it disappointed me last year that Duke can have 4 guys drafted in the top 10, yet they didn't win a damn national championship. UConn, Michigan, I'm up at the top. I don't from the lower half of who I think I might see. Illinois, Iowa State.
So for my personal thoughts, you got count. Well, you might not even know. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna make you do that because I was asked Big 10 and Big 12. Like, who has more teams in your top 10? But you may not know all the Big 12 teams.
No, I'm looking at Big 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 4-2.
Okay.
Because Houston's Pac-12, right?
Right.
Arizona's Pac.
Yep.
And that's all I got.
Okay. KG.
And then wake up.
Oh, I'm here. You talking local? VCU's 20-6, 11-2 in the A10. George Mason's 21-5, 9-4 in the A10. I'm just looking at local teams. You talk about Georgetown.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Tony's gonna be Tony Sip. I think that's his last name. The kid at George Mason. He's gonna be at a big time program in the next few years. He can recruit. He has a style. He has a type, as we like to say here at the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. Or to take it off of highly opinionated, they got the OKG, our kind of guy. So
Georgetown is 13-12, game above 500. Not looking good in the Big East, but UConn, St. John's, and Villanova are running roughshod over everybody. That's 1, 2, and 3 with a combined 5 losses in conference play. I know Jack didn't say nothing about it this week because I think they done fell off. But Gonzaga 25-2, 13-1 in the conference.
I'll take Miami OH over them.
Really?
Telling you, man, I ain't seen nothing. I mean, and I think they might even be in the top 10 on AP, but they're not in my top 15.
Now I'm gonna throw a team out there. This is just me looking. This is Stephen F. Austin.
Okay.
In the Southland Conference. They're 24-3, 17-1 in their conference. And of course, they're not going to get no love because they're not one of your big. They're not the A10. They're not the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12. They're not none of these conferences. But these are the little guys that are playing big ball and not getting anything. Even Navy in the Patriot League is 21-6, 13-1 in the conference.
Stephen F. Austin, they're gonna do what they do every year, every other year, and that's get a 12, 13, 14 seed, and then just get their ass beat by a bigger school. I mean, they're what? Maybe 1 win? I mean, I don't remember them doing much, but they do always have a great record come into regular season. And who else they got in their conference, KG?
Let me go back and look. While I'm doing that, let me ask you a question.
Thank you. Yeah.
They got McNeese State, Texas A&M Community College, New Orleans, Nichols,
All right,
Lamar,
that is
Houston
that
Christian.
I digress. I digress.
I'm sorry, that's Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I'm sorry,
Oh boy.
that's Corpus Christi. But I mean, with teams like Stephen F. Austin, we talk about Miami of Ohio. We talk about out on the West Coast, Gonzaga. Can we say that
St. Mary's.
the mid-major is still actually holding on just a little bit? They may not be on life support, but they're in a hospital. They breathing on their own, but it's touch and go. Can we say that the mid-major is still alive?
That's hard to say from
You
my
saying critical condition but stable.
definitely.
Yes.
Now I think they in a coma. Cause like I say, man, all they are now is a stepping stone.
But they're a stepping stone because their athletes now go from their schools to the big schools to be
Right.
the third and fourth and fifth guys. So it's not just that in its own right.
That's a good question.
What else do we have? Because I got something I'm curious about.
That's all I had. Because I mean, I'm always talking about mid-major because your mid-majors are your Cinderellas. Those are the ones that come to the dance and the shoe might slip off and, they get chased by the prince all night to see if the shoe fit and then the clock strikes 12. So, those are your guys. But
you're gonna get somebody who's gonna have the slipper on and at least go 3 rounds. JMU did it a few years ago. It's still gonna happen, but I just don't think they go as far as they used to. There's just the talent's way off from these big universities to these smaller schools.
Yeah, but the talent's way off is because their talent's being poached.
Transferred.
Yeah.
And that JMU upset, we picked that here. That was picked here.
Yes, you did. I remember.
Couple things to keep an eye on. Excuse me. Tony Clark just resigned as part of the player union in MLB. Keep your eye on that story because that's going to be a story. Excuse me. I thought we'd have time to get to it today. Talk about tanking a little bit on our show.
Let's definitely talk about that on another day.
But let's have a conversation because I got some feelings about like some of these conversations. And I think yeah, Jack, there you go. See, you get that green and gold in your system. Yeah. But no, yeah. So
I was just singing go-go, man. That's all I was. No green and gold.
Yeah, it's green and gold. It's okay. You can have some Lion pride. It's okay.
Let me the update is Miami, Ohio remains unbeaten. They defeated Massachusetts, but St. Louis is down 3 with 26 seconds left to University of Rhode Island. And St. Louis had just recently been bumped up in the top 20.
Okay.
So, but yeah, tanking is a situation.
I don't think it's much a situation that we got conversation to have on this one. But maybe that's our conversation.
You got to get the ping pong ball, though, first of all.
I think so. I reached out to KG and said, I think Thursday night we should always have at least one, just a debate, a conversation. We can update everything else, but I think we should have something separate from everybody else.
Agreed. So can we say that our conversation will be tanking this Thursday?
Tanking this Thursday.
Tanking this Thursday. Let me get a pen here.
I like it.
Write that down.
I like it.
God, I wish I knew more of his songs because I know I think he's got Please Don't Go, but I don't think that fits the scenario when it comes to tanking.
Tanky tank.
This is my wedding song. If you feel it, sing along.
Y'all ain't, y'all.
Oh man.
124. Let's get
All
out
right,
of here.
let's get out of here because I know I'm about to get in trouble for this. So I know the boss gonna ring my phone off the hook. There it is. Debate time, yelling and screaming. Yeah.
But no, man.
Oh, Boss Man came on for 24 minutes and made us run over. Shoot.
Blame it. That's it. It's his fault. We ain't do that.
Yeah. Blame it on the boss. Blame it on the cause. Never mind.
All right.
Yeah, I just
Here we
took
go.
20.
30 seconds. Last thoughts before we go to bed, gentlemen.
I told you my two. Tanking the MLB PA situation, and I think that's all I got. Jack.
High school basketball is heating up. Some schools only got a couple games left, about another week. And I'm going to try to get to some of the best matchups I can before playoffs start. And I definitely want to get to some playoff matches. And I'm still trying to work my way into how I'm going to get up into Johnny Unitas Arena, or I'm sorry, Towson basketball arena for the state championships. So got some people I got to call after the show and check in on some high school hoops. So keep you posted.
Okay. KG.
Well, sheesh. Take a week off, you forget what you're supposed to be doing.
So you at this point in time in the show is you end the show and you tell
Yeah,
everybody,
that's what we're supposed to do. So
you
yeah,
preview the shows for tomorrow night.
yeah,
Maybe
that's
tell
what-
them on Thursday night, and then you say thank you for watching. We appreciate the people in the comments.
Yeah, all that. So you got tomorrow, you got Nothing But Net at 7:30. At 8 o'clock, you got In the Passenger Seat with the Gentleman Jack Carr and special backseat driver Lee Ice. Thursday, we'll be back with the Thursday Night Throwdown. Saturday, you got the Gridiron at 11:30 a.m. New season has started in the greatest fictitious league in the world, Craig. In the world.
In the world, Craig.
9 o'clock, you should have the WrestleManiacs. And we got something special brewing up for that. Special.
Y'all are cooking. Y'all are cooking. I love it. And I don't even like wrestling, but my boys, the WrestleManiacs, are cooking.
So, no, I'm not. I'm taking this to 130 because I can. No, but thank you everybody that commented, joined, and everything. You can also listen to us tomorrow morning, Odyssey app, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all your major platforms. So for the Gentleman Jack, the Midnight Ride, I'm the big guy KG. We don't do no overtime, y'all. Ha! That's a lie, because we are out of here.